what we had understood till now was regarding the specific intercepting traffic, right? So we had understood with the use of 𝗃𝗁𝗶𝗶𝗃 that how we will be able to intercept that particular traffic, right, for known at HTTP or HTTPS protocols. Now, what we'll be doing is because we had discussed, right, when it comes to the thick line application, they might be using different set of protocols as well. So if there is 𝗃𝗁𝗶𝗶𝗃, right, if it is not able to intercept, definitely we will be able to take use of other tools and will be able to get that particular traffic as well. So today we will be understanding the other tools, right? So basically how we will be able to intercept the traffic with those specific tools and how we'll be able to get the details as well. First one we will be seeing is MITM relay or MITM proxy, and we will be sending the traffic to 𝗏𝗏. So this is the first one, and second one will be seeing which will be Fiddler. So both of these tools will be validating, and we will be checking how we will be able to get the details as well. Let us see the installation of this MITM relay, and then we'll be seeing how to capture that particular things as well. MITM relay is nothing but a GitHub script itself, right? So basically it is a Python script. So what we'll be able to do is we can just download that particular Python script within our machine. So here you can see Python script is there. What we will be able to do is basically it will be utilizing that, it will be starting to capture that particular details from the thick client application, and then we'll be able to get the details as well. Okay, so now what I have done is just to save time, I have already downloaded that particular tool, right? Now we need to execute it, right? So there is no specific other things we need to do. Basically we can just download it and execute it itself. But first thing we will be required to do is basically we need to identify what actually is the details where we want to interact with, right? So we will require what actually is the IP address with which thick client application is using.
आवाज आपका बंद हो गया था बीच में।
हाँ, आज भी मेरा थोड़ा नेटवर्क इशू है। अभी आवाज ठीक से आ रहा है क्या, या अभी नहीं आ रहा?
अभी नहीं आ रहा।
अब मतलब ठीक से नहीं आ रहा क्या, मतलब बीच में ब्रेक हो रहा है क्या आवाज?
आया भी
क्या चीज?
बीच में गायब हो जाता।
अच्छा, एक मिनट में अपना नेटवर्क चेंज करता हूँ। Okay, so what we were discussing was we will be validating first of all MITM, how we'll be able to send the request to the 𝗏𝗏, and then we'll be seeing the same things with the Fiddler as well. Now just a quick disclaimer, whenever we are going through this particular applications, right, if it is not using HTTP or HTTPS, we will be able to see the traffic, right, in any of these particular tools, but we will not be able to modify it, right? And the details which are shown within that traffic will not be similar to how the HTTP request is looking like. Okay, you might not be able to find any kind of headers or URL and those kind of things because it is not an HTTP or HTTPS traffic, right? So basically you will not be able to see those details itself, right? So in case if you see that, okay, the request is coming up, but it looks totally different than whatever you are seeing in your web applications, that will be perfectly fine. There will not be any kind of issue because that request will not be of HTTP or HTTPS. It definitely will be looking lot different than this kind of normal applications, normal requests. So what we need to do is we will be downloading the Python script, okay, and then we need to identify the what actually are the specific details which is being used by the client application to communicate. like IP address, port number, our internal port number, all those specific things, so that it can capture the details from that and forward the same thing to 𝗏𝗏. Okay. So first, what we will be doing is we will be starting up with our the client application, and then we will go ahead with um, validating how we can check for the MITM proxy as well. So let me first of all open the client application, and to get this particular details, we'll be using TCP view, which we have already used previously. So I will open TCP view, and I will open the client application as well. So here is the details. I will just filter it out. So here I will just enter S3, and here you can see it is utilizing multiple things, right? What we will do is we will just enter our details. So I can just type and we will go forward and send that. I will quickly add the account. I will just quickly add to specific details, and we will add the account, and we will see. So here you can see the port number and all those things, right? So basically we can see the properties, or you can just copy it. So I will just copy it, and I will paste it in the notepad, right? So here what we need to make sure. So here you can see the local port, remote address, and remote port number. All these three things we will be requiring here. So basically this is the remote. So this is the local port number. This local address and all those things we don't require actually, right? This is the local port number, remote IP address, and remote port number. So these are the only things which will be required for this one, MITM proxy, right? Now what we'll be doing is it is communicating with that one, right? So now we will go back to our particular MITM relay, and we will open our command line as an administrator here. Command line should be administrator, should have the administrator privileges. We'll open that. We will navigate to that particular folder where that tool is available. So here you can see that tool is there, right? So basically, let me just quickly expand the screen. So now here, if we see, basically we are having this MITM relay here. We will enter Python MITM relay, right? And now what we need to enter? Basically, we will be entering the first one should be local host. So we will enter -L. So we will enter -L for local host. Local host IP address can be anything, right? So you can enter your 172.1 also, which is your again the local host, or you can enter 127.0.0.1. That will be again your local host, or you can enter 0.0.0.0. Again, it will be same thing itself. Then we'll be entering -R for remote one. So we will enter -R, and then we will mention which particular protocol is being used. So here it is using TCP view, right? Because that is the main reason why it was showing up, right, in the TCP view. So we can enter that particular TCP, and then we can enter whatever is the port number which is available. So I will just quickly re-execute that. And here you can see here the port number and all those things. So the port number is 49879. 879. We will be able to enter the IP address 54.231.140.72 and the external port number, which will be 80 port number, right? So this is the one, and now where we want to share. So -p will be proxy. So we want to share to the burp suite, which is 127.0.0.1 and 8080. Once it is done, before executing, we will just execute our burp suite, and then we will go forward and check, like we will get the proxy address as well. One thing which you might face difficulties, many times this local port might be different, or the trick client application might be utilizing a different set of IP addresses for connecting, right? So at that point of time, if your IP address has been changed, meanwhile it tries to communicate, definitely at that point of time, your proxy is listening to a specific address which is no longer being used by your client application. So you might not be able to get the details at that point of time. So you need to again change your command and then again do that, right? So all those things might be there. So here you can see, okay, so it is, I have checked. So let me, okay, it is administrator itself. Let us just go forward and re-execute it. Sometimes it might show you some specific type of errors, but it will not be. So here you can see now it is listening. There is not an issue. And basically here, once we are going through that particular details, so what will happen is it will directly go ahead and tell. But now you can see that port number has been changed, right? So once we are entering that particular port number again, then basically we will be able to get all of those specific results by how we were getting in the Eco Mirage, right? Same thing will be available here. Now, the cons or the disadvantages of MITM relay is that it will be to the specific port number itself, and specific IP address will be able to listen to. So in case like how we are getting here, right? If we are executing it second time, the full IP address and the local port number is getting changed, right? So at that point of time, it will not be able to go forward and intercept because the port number is being changed by the application itself. So it will be intercepting, but in the wrong place, right? So again, we will not be able to get the result. So this is what we will be having. But whenever the application has all those specific details as a static, say that it is using one particular port number, it is using one IP address, and the specific IP address itself, it is going forward and it is checking, definitely at that point of time it will not be an issue. You will be able to intercept all those specific protocols requests which is available. Now let us go forward and see the same thing, how we can do it within our this application as well, which is Fiddler, and how actually the things are working there. Let us go forward and see. I will close this for now, and then we will check it once
बट
more.
ये हम यहाँ पे कौन सा एप्लीकेशन का कैप्चर कर रहे थे?
यहाँ पे ये था
S3 ब्राउजर।
S3 ब्राउजर करके, हाँ वो हमने पहले इंस्टॉल किया था ना, वो सेम ही एप्लीकेशन है।
ओके, बट इसमें हम ट्रैफिक कैसे कैप्चर करना ये सीखे, बट यहाँ पे ढूंढना क्या है उसके बाद?
वो हम देखेंगे ना, वो देखेंगे। पहले ट्रैफिक तो कैप्चर कर लेते हैं, फिर ये सारा हम आगे जाके देखेंगे। ओके
ओके गॉट इट।
Now next thing is, let us go forward with our Fiddler and see how actually we can do that particular things as well. So here we will go to our Fiddler option. Here by default it will be capturing the request from Fiddler itself. So likewise here you can see this is how it will be looking like. What we'll be doing is, first of all we will open our the client application. Okay, here you can see this is the application which is already available, right? What we'll be doing is we will be going to web config, and we will click on that particular request which is available within the application, or basically within that particular place, right? So basically here in this scenario, what will happen is we will be having all the list of services which are available. Now, typically what happens is many times you might not be getting the exact name of it. So here you can see the path of it, right? So in case if you are able to see within that particular application, within the path, you will be able to see. But what we'll be doing is we will open the Fiddler as administrator so that we can get the details of other applications as well. So we will go to Fiddler, we will run it as an administrator, we'll click on yes, and it will be able to intercept those specific things. We'll go to web config, and typically here you will be able to see all of those specific details which are available, all the list of processes. Now let me take it to any one of it, right? So for example, we will check one note which is already available in my system and your system, or mail and calendar. So once we are doing that, once we just take it up, right? Once we are having that, we'll click on save changes. Here you will be having the save changes, so that will be enabled. So now once we close that particular thing, once we set up on Go, or typically once that application is available, right, we'll be able to get that particular result here within the intercept traffic. So once we start that intercept traffic, you'll be able to go forward and get that particular result within here itself, that whatever are those specific applications which are available and what all traffic is available here, right? So typically all those specific results are available here. You will be able to get the details here, and within the logs you'll be able to see what actually are the specific details within that particular place. Now there is one more option which is similar to 𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗃, right? So at that point of time you'll be able to see what all rules are available and what all connections are available. So all of those kind of things are available, so where you will be able to see the list of other requests which are there, and will be able to see, right? Again, here you can see that there is no specific data where you will be able to go forward and modify the details which are available, right? So the same thing is there itself, like 𝗃𝗁𝗏, you will not be able to go forward and check like that particular details, that you will not be able to modify that particular request. What you can do is you will be able to go to this option which is tools, and in the tools you will be able to go to the option which is options, and here we'll be going forward with the connections and gateway. So in the gateway you can go forward with your manual proxy. You'll be entering the specific IP address which is 127.0.0.1 and the port number basically which is 8080. We will click on OK. Okay, and basically this is the place where it will be sending those specific details to 𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗏, right? So likewise we can send that particular request to 𝗶𝗶𝗶𝗏 and we can see it in much more familiar request type, right? And we'll be able to get that particular details as well. So these are the main options how we will be able to go forward and get. Now the one of the main challenge which we'll be able to face here within any of the tools, right? Most of the times 𝗃𝗁𝗏𝗏𝗏 will be the best tool because it will be able to identify those specific requests and it will be able to show that particular request itself, which we'll be able to see. So 𝗃𝗁𝗏𝗏𝗏 will be best tool if for you to go forward and get and the same thing, we will be able to see those specific requests within the 𝗃𝗁𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 itself, will be able to see those requests and will be able to get. In case if it is not able to identify those specific requests, then you can go through the MITM Proxy, and if it is not available, then you can go through the Fiddler itself. So these are the main things which will be able to go in this particular format. Now, second thing is when it comes to intercepting the request, right? What we need to do after intercepting it, right? Definitely, if it is the HTTP or HTTPS, which normally the client applications have very less possibility that it will be using HTTP or HTTPS. Typically, they might be using other protocols like FTP, SSH, RDP, and all of those specific protocols, right? So at that point of time, here what we will be able to do is we will not be able to modify the request and send those specific details to the server. So at that point of time, what we'll be able to do is we will be able to go forward and see that particular data that whether there is those specific type of sensitive data which is going or not, how exactly it is going, whether it is in an encrypted format, and whether it is in clear format. So those specific type of things we'll be able to validate here, and we will be able to check it at that point of time. Okay, so that is the main thing which we'll be having as a part of server end, right? Because normally the client applications, this is something like a mobile application or those specific type of things. What are the test cases which we'll be majorly doing? We'll be able to see both are the front end, like client side, those specific scenarios which are available, right? So client side SQL injection will be there, or client side authentication authorization bypass will be there. So all of those kind of things will be able to see it within our thick client applications. This kind of server side vulnerabilities, right, we'll be understanding how that protocols are going, are working, how we will be able to, how the data is getting transmitted, right? But as it is utilizing multiple other type of protocols where the interception is not possible, right, or interception or the modification of that particular request is not possible. So at that point of time, we will be able to validate whether the sensitive data is flowing or whether they are securely sending that particular data or not. So those kind of things will be going forward and checking. Okay, so any doubts, any queries till now, anyone? No doubts. So here you can see the request has been intercepted, right? And basically this is how the intercepted request will be looking like. So basically some of the tool is checking for the updates. So here you can see edge is checking for the updates. So we are getting this one, and we are able to intercept the request. This is from the Fiddler tool itself. Now once we forward it, here it will be able to go forward and see. So here you can see this is how it will be looking like. Here you can see this is the Teams one, and again we will be able to see that particular things as well. So likewise we will be able to go forward. Now if I want to any replay any kind of request, I can just replay it, and I will be able to again get that particular request, and we will be able to see that request as well. So likewise we'll be able to check. So here you can see we had replied, and again the similar things are coming up, right? So likewise we'll be able to validate and see those specific requests, and we will be able to get that details as well. We will be able to forward, and we'll be able to see the request, and we will be able to see the response as well. Likewise we will be able to check. Okay, so any doubts, any queries, anything in this one, guys? The 𝗔𝗃𝗶𝗶, MITM proxy, or a Fiddler?
No.
Okay. Now our next thing which we will be doing is basically the specific front end, or when it comes to our particular applications, right? So we will be checking the weak GUI interface. So what we will be doing is we will not be able to check the full vulnerability in our today's session. So what we'll be doing is we'll be understanding what actually is weak GUI interface, and then we will be understanding how we can do it in our next session, right? So that is how we'll be able to check it, this particular vulnerability. Now what happens is whenever there is any specific type of the client application, typically many times those specific parameters or that particular pages which needs to be accessed, or which can be accessed only by a privileged set of users, right? So those specific privileged users, right, so at that point of time they will be having that particular access of the pages, but what will happen is that particular pages will be hidden, right? And it will not be shown up to the normal users, and whenever the privileged user is logging in, they will be able to see that particular pages, right? So this is how that will be available. Now in that scenario, what actually happens is, now that is not the correct mechanism from which we will be able to go forward and only hide the page, right, and not show up the page whenever the user is not logged in, right? Because hiding the pages will not be a good parameter because anyone can unhide the page, right? So there should be a proper implementation which should be done where the data itself should not be accessed, right? So those specific type of things, the session IDs and the parameters should be properly implemented so that we can have that particular things within the logic of the application rather than the showing the page or no. So in that scenario, if those specific type of implementation is done, which many of the client application does, what we'll be able to do? We will be able to validate whether there is any specific type of hidden pages which are available or not. Okay, whether the application uses the specific printing or the like whenever it shows some specific type of pop-ups, right? We'll first of all understand what particular type of window ID, right? This windows which are popped up, right? What particular type of window ID which has been used, right? Which function it is, and based on that we will be able to go forward and check how that particular or in which particular memory space that data has been loaded. And what we will be doing is we will be validating within the application by logging in within the normal user ID, and we will check like whether we can go forward and see those specific type of parameters, that particular pages, that pop-ups, right, which are not normally seen to the normal users, right? We can load that particular memory again and we will check whether we are able to get that particular details here as well or not, right? So those specific type of things will be understanding at that point of time. Now, which kind of tools we'll be utilizing here? So basically, we will be using a few of the tools, right? So basically, there is tool called 𝗔𝗃𝗶𝗶𝗃++. So basically, this is one of the tool which will be giving us those specific details. We'll be validating how those specific data is coming up and how we will be able to get that particular information as well from that tool itself, right? So how this tool works in the backend, right? So typically once we are logging in to as an administrator user or a normal user, right? It maps all the memory which is working in the backend, and based on that, it will be checking that which function is loaded in which particular memory, right? So basically it will be checking, it will be executing in this specific same manner, and it will be constantly monitoring what actually are the processes which are working in the backend. Now once it is loaded, right, so at that point of time it will be giving us the list of all the functions which it is finding, um, um which it is finding within the application, and it will be showing up what actually is the width and height and all of those details within each and everything which is available. So it will be having all the details of that particular pop-ups or any particular type of screen which is shown to us by the application itself. And then it will show us whether it is enabled or disabled, right? So basically if it is disabled, typically that particular field is hidden and we will not be able to see those specific details in a normal manner. But yeah, basically if it is not hidden, we'll be able to see. It will also give us the functionality where we can enable or disable some specific type of function. So if it is enabled, right, we can disable it, or if it is hidden, we can unhide it, and we will be able to see that particular functions as well, right? So those specific type of things will be there. And also whenever these particular details are available, right, so at that point of time we'll be understanding like how we can modify the details which are already shown up. So for example, within this application, this is the pop-up which I am able to see, right? Here you can see progress, 𝗔𝗃𝗶𝗶𝗃 withdrawal classic, right? What I can do is, in case if it is not having the proper configuration, normally I can modify the data which is already shown up here in runtime, right? Here if it is 𝗔𝗃𝗶𝗃, so I will be able to get all the details of this 𝗔𝗃𝗶𝗃 and where exactly it is going through, right? What functions it is executing, right? So all of those kind of things I will be able to modify the details within that, and I will be able to modify the details during the runtime of the details which are shown up here, right? So all of those specific type of details we can modify. And in case if there is some specific type of function which is hidden, let's assume that there is this particular application has some kind of subscription model, right? And that particular subscription model will be giving us like if we are subscribed to it, it will be giving us some specific type of functionality, right? Let's assume 𝗔𝗃𝗶𝗃, right? So here there is this particular function. For example, here search version, right? It is, this function is available, but it is disabled by default for the person who is not paying for the subscription, right? So typically what we'll be able to see, we'll be able to see this kind of details which are disabled, which are hidden, or the normal details which are shown to us, whether we can modify anything like that or not, right? And based on that, we'll be able to validate whether it is available or not, right? So those kind of things we'll be able to check it within our application as well, right? We'll be using the first and mostly used one is 𝗔𝗃𝗶𝗶𝗴, right? This is another one. So likewise, we'll be able to see and we will be able to check how we can modify those specific details and get that particular details as well. Likewise. So this is what we'll be able to see it within our application as well. But what we need to do is when in this particular application, first of all, we will be taking up the application, we will be compiling the code and then we'll be utilizing it, right? So that will be a bit more of a longer process. So that is what we'll be seeing it in our next session, and then we will be going forward with our client side attack, which will be client side authentication bypass and client side injections and those specific type of things. Okay, so any doubts, any queries, anything till now? Anyone?
No.
No. Okay, so this is what we'll be doing in our next session. Okay, and then we will be validating. So what I will do is I will be sharing a few of the thick client applications after this session over the drive itself. Okay, so that you need to intercept with all these particular tools, and then you can check and share it like with me that whether there you are able to find some kind of sensitive data while intercepting it or not, right? So you can use all the three tools for all the applications and you can see that which tool was worked for which particular application. Definitely in some application, all the tool will be able to intercept, but in some of the application, any one out of it or any two out of it will be able to intercept, right? So those kind of things will happen. Okay, so basically I will share that particular executable files within the drive, or if executable files are not being uploaded, right, I will be able to I will share the links to it. You can practice it and then you can tell me which particular thing was worked, right? So that is what we'll be understanding next, right? You can practice on the next, right? So there is some time which is left. So basically you can utilize this time in validating that. I will be uploading everything within few minutes and then you can practice on the same as well. Okay, and this particular topic will be doing it in our next session. Okay, so that was it for my end for today's session. Any doubts, any queries, anything, guys? Sure, I will share it. Okay, okay, okay. Sure, let me share the drive link.